Hello, my name is Dr. Jenny Liu, Co-Principal Investigator for the TRANSrisk project. In this annual review, we will aim to take you through the work of the TRANSrisk project during its first year of operation. If any particular aspects of the project are of interest to you, please feel free to get in touch with us. TRANSrisk is a global study of low-carbon transition pathways that are technically, economically, and socially feasible. One key focus of our work is understanding the risks and uncertainties that lie within these potential transitions. The project started in September 2015 and will run for 3 years. 12 leading universities and research units have come together for TRANSrisk. In addition to organizations based in EU countries, we also have partners in Switzerland, Chile, Asia, and Africa. This broad partnership allows us to bring together the diverse range of expertise necessary to successfully implement this project. The European Union has agreed to ambitious carbon reductions targets. Transition pathways set out how we might get from the economies of today to the low-carbon economies of tomorrow. The scale of the carbon reductions needed are clear. However, there is only limited understanding of the risks and uncertainties that might be encountered as we transition to low-carbon economies. One of the major uncertainties is public acceptance of low-carbon technologies. A technology may have the technical potential and it significantly reduces emissions. However, many technologies need public support to have a major impact. In extreme circumstances, the public may actively oppose rollout of a low-carbon technology, severely limiting its impact. TRANSrisk's key output will be a new framework, with accompanying tools to help policy and other decision makers evaluate low-carbon technology options. The framework will cover the environmental, economic, and social impacts of these technologies. On our way to achieving this output, we will improve scientific understanding of how low-carbon transition pathways can be implemented across the diverse economies of the world. Ultimately, TRANSrisk's outputs will help policy and decision makers implement more effective climate change policy. In TRANSrisk, we are combining qualitative and quantitative approaches. This means we are combining computer models of social economic systems with input from people involved in the area of studies, who we refer to as stakeholders. This approach brings some unique benefits. Models can help stakeholders see the potential impact of their views on the climate and the economy, while the models themselves can become better grounded in real-world knowledge. TRANSrisk's work is split into 8 different work packages, each led by one of the partner organizations. 6 of the work packages concentrate on the scientific work for the project. There are strong links between the packages. For example, the outputs of one package may act as inputs for another. Our scientific work is supported by 2 other work packages: project management, which directs the project, and dissemination, which works to direct the project outputs to people who can make use of them. TRANSrisk is coordinated by a team here at the Science Policy Research Unit at the University of Sussex. The academic work of the project, coordinated by myself and Gordon McCarran, is supported by Hannah Malka and Ed Durnley, who manage the project management and administrative systems. In addition to overall coordination in Work Package 1, SPRU are leading the country case study research in Work Package 3. Rosio Tinoco and myself jointly lead this work package. The remaining 6 work packages are led by experts from 6 of our partner organizations: Witzer from the Netherlands, Mikel from Spain, Oscar and Suzanne from Switzerland, Tim from Sweden, and Haris, Alexandros, and Hera from Greece. They bring a diverse range of academic expertise to the project, as well as significant experience of other successful EU-funded research projects. Our first year of operation saw us carrying out the groundwork to build the project. We've worked to establish the administrative and technical systems to manage an international project consortium and to develop the scientific framework for core parts of our work. During the second half of the year, our scientific outputs started to flow. Work began on the country case studies, which formed the core of the project. At the start of the year, partners recruited to fill gaps in the research team for the project. We also established the online collaboration and meeting platforms needed for a distributed partnership, and set up regular patterns of meeting to drive along the project. Project management procedures were agreed and codified in a project manual. External dissemination platforms have also been established, including a website, mailing lists, and social media accounts. A communication and dissemination plan has been drawn up to guide our dissemination activities. The majority of our work over the past year has focused on establishing the scientific framework for the project. Stakeholder engagement is an important part of our case study work, and much of the formal guidance produced to date has focused on engaging, categorizing, and analyzing stakeholders and their inputs. We have also developed some tools to assist with the case study work, including a system mapping tool and a business intelligence system. These tools potentially have applications beyond TRANSrisk. The first output of the case study work, a compilation of the 14 case study contexts, was delivered at the end of November 2016. Our case study work will continue from this base and form the basis of a number of the project's other deliverables. The synergies and conflicts work of Work Package 4 is also well underway. The first deliverable, Economic Impacts of Climate Change, formed the basis for a published scientific paper. A second deliverable from this work package was released at the end of October 2016 and focused on the potential of behavioral changes to reduce carbon emissions. We also carried out an extensive literature review of over 600 scientific papers in order to examine the key uncertainties and risks for climate policies. Our case study work is being carried out around the globe. In addition to the core European countries, we are carrying out case studies in Canada, Chile, Kenya, India, China, and Indonesia. Each case study is focused on key economic sectors and low-carbon technologies for the country in question, and is led by the expert researchers based in the country studied. In the Austrian, Greek, Polish, Spanish, and UK case studies are all full or detailed studies of key sectors of the country studied. In Austria, we are looking at the iron and steel sector, which makes up almost half of the country's emissions. With such a dominant, energy-intensive sector, is a low-carbon transition feasible, or will it simply move production to other, lower-cost countries? The UK case study focuses on the nuclear sector, a highly topical subject with new UK reactors currently a hot topic of debate. Nuclear power is highly politicized technology with implications well beyond the energy sector, introducing a large number of uncertainties and risks into any transition pathways that includes it. Our other European country studies are limited case studies or smaller in scale. In Sweden, we're looking at the road freight sector. This means investigating the potential for low-carbon fuels and also factors such as modal shifts and changing the pattern of demand. In the Netherlands, we're looking at two key areas. The first is the scope for solar PV, and the second, the role of manure management in the cattle industry. The latter case is particularly interesting as the huge cattle industry in the Netherlands make a significant contribution to the country's emissions in the form of methane gas. Finally, the Swiss case study is focusing on the nuclear sector and renewable energy. Switzerland aims to decommission all of its nuclear power plants within a generation. This contrasts with the UK, where the new nuclear reactors are being given the go-ahead. Our non-European case studies focus on a broad range of sectors of special interest to the country studied. In China, we are concentrating on energy efficiency and renewable energy in the building sector, a key sector with Chinese cities continuing to grow. The Indian and Chilean case study both focus on renewable energy, with the Chile study focusing on the country's significant solar potential. The Indonesian and Kenyan studies also focus on renewable energy potential, with the Indonesian study centering on biofuels such as bioethanol and biogas. Finally, the Canada study concentrates on the country's oil sands productions, a particularly high carbon source of energy. The population living around the oil sands sites are predominantly from First Nation communities, and the social and economic impacts of these communities is a particular focus of the study. TRANSrisk's key outputs are all available on our website, transrisk-project.eu. In addition to scientific outputs, we're also documenting our plans and procedures, which will help other projects learn from its successes and setbacks. TRANSrisk has already led to 4 published papers. The first 2 by our Spanish partners BC3 have summarized research on permafrost melting and economic impacts of low carbon energy. The next 2 by our Greek partners NTUA have examined the role of fuzzy cognitive maps in the low carbon policy process. Fuzzy cognitive maps are graphical representations of knowledge and perceptions in a given system with a focus on the strength of relationships between different elements of the map. Dissemination is a key part of our work. In order for TRANSrisk to have an impact, the right people need to know what we are doing. In our first year, we have set up systems to disseminate our results, including a website, social media accounts, and mailing lists. We have also released a number of newsletters, videos, and reports. We're also using networks to disseminate our results, utilizing our partners' existing strong networks in each country to improve awareness of the project and its work. We are making efforts to link with other research projects that have complementary themes to TRANSrisk. One example is our work with the EU-funded Charisma project. Here we have joined a consortium of several other projects managed by Charisma to develop a platform that highlights all of our work on climate projects. This kind of activity helps to extend our outreach activities and provide useful, relevant products for both scientific and policy audiences. The coming year will see a great deal of activity for TRANSrisk as our scientific work really gets into gear. Work will progress across a whole range of case studies, with much of the planned stakeholder engagement, interviews, and workshops scheduled to take place within the next 12 months. Results will be analyzed and recorded. Work Package 4 will output 2 deliverables, focusing on the impact of stakeholder preferences and synergies and conflicts in transition pathways. The core uncertainty and risk research in Work Package 5 will also progress with an appraisal of economic uncertainties associated with climate policy. Work Package 6 will investigate social discourse and social network analysis. Work Package 7 is responsible for developing the decision support tools for policymakers based on TRANSrisk's work. This year, it will deliver a report on comparisons between different transition pathways. Finally, Work Package 8 will continue to output a steady stream of dissemination materials while stepping up work to engage with key policy and decision makers. We hope you have found this update informative. To follow our work, please visit our website or contact us directly via email.